guys, Jack here, and welcome to episode 116 of The Road to Glory, here with SC United of Manchester. Hopefully you guys are good. In the last episode we played in the Champions League first round knockout stage against Barcelona. If you didn't miss that episode, go check it out as always. And yeah, let's get straight into today's episode. So today is going to be a special little episode. Today we have a Champions League quarter-final first leg, followed by the FA Cup semi-final, and then the second leg of the Champions League game. The draw in the Champions League was fairly kind to us. We got against Valencia. They're not an amazing team. I think they finished fourth in the league last year. But they have this wing back. Let me show you him, Silvio Luis. This guy, probably one of the best wing backs I've ever seen in FM. Just the mental stats on him and his defensive stats are unreal. But anyway, I can't dwell on what opposition teams have. Valencia is a fairly kind draw, really. They lack the strength in depth. We go into today's game with a fairly strong side. The only area of real concern for me at the moment is the right wing-back position. Nazarov got injured again and is out for another 3 to 4 weeks, so I don't have a natural right wing-back registered in my side. I did intend to counter this by having Roger train as a right wing-back. This was after Nazarov got injured the first time for a few months, but now he's got injured again, and so... I didn't really expect him to get injured as soon as he has, but he has done. And so, I've had to come up with a plan B, and plan B is that we have to play with Ranjic at right wing-back, who doesn't naturally play there, which isn't ideal, but we'll see how we get on. Other than that, fairly strong squad. One of them is David Gauffier out with suspension, and Matty out with suspension. So, despite this, we have a fairly solid back three anyway. Obviously, Matty and Gauffier are two first-choice centre-backs. However, Alfredo Jr. Comes in, the Spanish international centre-back. He's kind of our third/fourth choice. And then our fifth-choice centre-back, Roger, the 19-year-old young Frenchman. Plenty of talent, this guy. Hoping he can just continue to develop. I think he could make it as a right wing-back. I think it's a weird one. He doesn't quite have the mental stats, but he has some really, really solid kind of technical stats. The 16 passing and 13 creativity for a centre-back at the age of 19 is pretty crazy. But alas, he will be playing centre-back today. Other than that, full strength side. Elected not to go with Bastien Hubner, who's really hit some form of late. He's going to be starting off on the bench. Just a quick look at the fixtures since the last episode. There's only 3 to tell you guys about. We start off things with a 5-2 win against Fulham. Bastien Hubner getting a hat-trick and missing a penalty. So, pretty sick game for him, as always. Then followed up with a 5-0 walloping of West Ham. Again, Hubner getting on the score sheet twice. Payrod contributing. Matty getting a goal as well, which was nice. Top performance there, and then it ended unfortunately with a bit of a flop. 2-1 loss away against Queen's Park Rangers. Not ideal. Looking at the league table going into these last 6 games of the season, you can see here Chelsea in a very good position really compared to what they could have been in alongside us. We're still in kind of the driving seat, however there's pressure on us to get results certainly. Looking at our last few fixtures in terms of league games, the only one that could be a potential kind of slip-up is the Liverpool game on the last day of the season. But I'm kind of hoping by that point we might have seen out the title challenge, but we won't know until we get there. But anyway, let's get straight into today's game against Valencia. Going to be a tricky tie. Pretty happy with the squad as a whole that I've got available for this game. Lots of strength in depth. Across the areas, obviously Lee Wright and Bastien Hubner, 2 subs who can come on and grab goals for me. But we'll see how we get on. Looking at their team, they have some familiar names. They've got Fischer and Christig, who are 2 pretty decent players. I think that's a regen Courtois. This is our former player, Courtois. I knew their name looked familiar. So this guy we sold for 9 million and then he got sold on for 24 million. So... maybe a minor fail on my behalf, but he's not a crazy player. He's a good player, a very good player for France, but I wouldn't say he's anything too insane. He was a player who was replaced by Payrod, who is a better player, so I suppose it's not that big of a loss, but in terms of the money that we potentially lost out on because he went just 3 years after we sold him for 20-odd million, it's a bit of a shame. But alas, that's in the past. I can't dwell on it. Today is the Champions League quarter final. Let's see how we get on. I'm looking for a good performance by our lads going into today's game, and yeah, Let's just try and motivate them. Let's just tell them, do it for the fans. There's a lot to come from you, and I completely believe you've got what it takes. Okay, let's get straight into this. We're playing in our red, black and white. Oh god, I can't even get my words out. It's really early for me to be doing a video. I've kind of got a morning voice on. You might be able to tell I'm a little bit kind of scratchy in the throat, but hopefully it'll clear during this episode. Of course, we are away here, so away goals could be important. Looking at the stats, not necessarily dominating possession, but we're creating far more chances than they are. It's just a case of us crafting out some slightly better opportunities. Set piece here, ball whipped in. Alfredo Jr. is there, nods it. Great save by Pavoni. And now they're going for the big hoofball, and Courtois, our former players, through. Great save by Pavlenko. Keeps the ball out there. That's the first clear-cut chance that's been missed in this game. Calling for Valencia. And now hopefully we can try and up our game. We've got to watch out for this counter-attack. It looks like they're going to be trying to hit us on it. But at the moment, 0-0, it's not too shabby, but we are going to have to defend well here. My big worry is that Courtois in centre attacking mid is finding a bit too much space because I've not got a kind of this anchor man in the defensive position, but I'm hoping that Enrique dropping deep will be good enough. Bury that, João Jose. Bury it. Oh, Ranjic, you muppet. Ranjic, not on his natural side there. He's playing right wing back today, even though he's a left wing back. I think that showed there. He tried to take it on his right foot and he's left footed. And we've just almost gifted them a goal. Jesus Christ, Alfredo Jr. Keep your head on, son. That was nervy. But looking at it, we're doing okay. So I'm just going to tell the guys I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. A draw away from home wouldn't be bad. An away goal would be ideal because it means that if they were to score in the next tie, then a draw isn't good enough, which does apply some pressure on ourselves. But we'll just have to take things as they come. Realistically, I'd be happy with a draw. A scoring draw would be far, far better. A goal would just be superb in any situation. But you can see here, we're really trying to press them back. Look at stats, we have created more opportunities. This is the kind of game where Bastian Hubner could come on quite easily, and he should be off there. Get him off the field, ref. That's Fischke off. That's a big miss for them. Persistent foul and losing their left attacking midfielder. And I think are they going to make a sub? I'm trying to work out how they've changed their shape. I think they're just playing with one less defensive midfielder, which to me seems like suicide because I'm going to give Pereira more permission to push up the field. I'm going to give Alfredo Sr. first off more permission. I'm actually going to sub him off because he's not... actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to bring on Hubner for João Jose. Payard's struggling for fitness, but this is the kind of game where I just have to think, screw it, I'm going to play him. I'm also going to change Enrique to defend and drop him in deep. And then play Pereira in a box-to-box here in the hope that he's going to really craft out some opportunities because they're missing a man. And they were playing like... a 4-2-3-1, and you can see here looking at the side they're missing the anchor man that sits here, and it's going to leave a man free for us. So I'm hoping that Pereira box to box is going to be able to get in behind this guy. Switching our centre attacking mid to a more pressing position will also... Oh Jesus, Roger, I thought he was about to get red carded for that tackle, but no, basically what we're trying to do is exploit the gap behind their kind of centre mid who's now on his lonesome without kind of overexposing ourselves at the back. And as I say that, they actually score, so that plan hasn't worked. My change hadn't even taken place at the time of them scoring, which is a little annoying. But one of those things. But now we do need a goal. We need a goal from somewhere. So I'm going to switch to work ball into the box. Go a little bit more kind of intricate with our play. Try and craft out an opportunity. What we're trying to do here is really kind of catch them out on the break like this. Push men forward. And he should be booked here. Maybe even a red. I mean, one good thing about that other red card is it means that he's going to miss the next leg. Fischke, who's a good player for them, a bit of experience in their side, so that's not a bad thing. But really, we need to get a goal here. Bastian Hubner, Peyrard's there. Great goal, lads. 1-1. Hubner, the substitute, having an impact. Peyrard, who I've kind of gambled in keeping on, stays on, and he does what he does best. He gets the goals that count in the big, big games, and that's another huge one there. Claims of offside, I must admit, I checked for offside, but it wasn't given. But now, really looking for us to take the game to them with 10 men. Really try and push up. You can see here we're really trying to press far up the field in order to get the ball and pump it up to the big men up top. Who we have, and this good pressing play is working. We need to make sure we don't press too hard and create gaps, because it's something that sometimes happens with this shape. Courtois here with the run, gets the ball through, and they've scored again. Dolorea gets his 10th goal of the season for them. Oh dear. Certainly not ideal. Disappointing. Yeah, not ideal at all. Going to make another sub here. I'm actually going to take off Peyrard because he's struggling. And I'm also going to bring on a Barger for Pereira. And then I'm going to do one more tactical change, actually. I'm going to do something that I don't think people would expect me to do, and I wouldn't normally do this. But I'm going to switch the shape a lot. I'm going to commit a few more men forward. And the reason I'm going to do this is because 2 away goals would be great, and this could completely backfire. But we're going to switch to a far more direct and far more narrow, faster style of play. And yeah, we'll see what we can do here. We need to just throw some men forward. See what we can do here. I'm also going to not play the offside anymore, because I don't need our defence to push out as much, because we're going to sit deep and try and create a gap in the centre where the player who's been sent off is, get the big direct balls that he'd normally be cutting out, and hopefully grab a goal late on. I don't think it's going to happen for us, but you never know. It's FM. You've got to throw men forward at times, and I mean, it looks like it's going to stay 2-1 here, which isn't ideal, but hopefully we can rectify that in the second leg. I don't think there's going to be a late chance here for either team, which is unfortunate, given kind of the fact that I feel like we have been the better side. But no, full time goes. I think Courtois got man of the match. That's just disappointing. Former player, unlucky boys. Wasn't our night. Relaxed and motivated. Courtois was man of the match. Our former player getting 2 assists. Disappointing, but now our team have to really kind of switch on for the next leg. I was just looking at potential talents to sign. This Armando guy caught my eye. 15-year-old, plenty of potential, tipped. No real natural ability currently though, which is a bit of a turn off, because he doesn't look like he could amount to anything. Because the thing you have to remember is a player can have great potential ability, but that doesn't mean that they're never ever going to reach it. And so if a player starts out with no real natural ability, the chance of them reaching it are pretty slim. But it looks like of these players I've scouted, no one is particularly stand out. I was just kind of having a hunt at the 15-year-olds in Argentina who got brought in. No one catching my eye, so we will just continue. Norwich in the next game. Fairly kind draw on us in the end. I believe the other semi-final in the FA Cup, in fact I can't quite remember it, let me check it, it's Chelsea-Arsenal. So we got a fairly nice draw there. Norwich are a championship side, so hopefully we can get a result against them. Man City getting knocked out, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid getting 2 very convincing results. I don't think they're knocked out yet, Man City, but they're going to have to come up with one of the craziest results I've ever seen in FM to get back into that game. But at the moment, we're playing okay. We're not playing too badly at all. A little bit disappointed in that result against Valencia, but putting it aside, the performance itself was fairly kind of... I'm happy with it. I'm fairly pleased, just simply because we performed to our maximum. I've not held a team meeting in months. I don't listen to team meetings, because so many times it's just suggesting training for people who I already have training set up for, and it's just annoying. And then it's suggesting to list players for loan who don't need to go on loan, and then it's changing Alfredo Senior to be a rotation option when he features in the first team so much, which is just silly. And then it's like a case of offering me to sign players from the youth team who are now of age, which in reality they aren't particularly good at, and they're never going to reach my first team. But I guess the praise form ones are kind of useful. Like, they draw your attention to players you might have missed, but at the same time, I don't feel like it is really useful. The contract ones are okay. I'm going to talk to Luke Shaw here. He wants a new contract, but the thing is, he's at an age... okay, I can't even ask him about his happiness, so maybe he isn't that concerned yet. Alfredo Senior wants a new contract. See, the thing is, he wants a new contract, Alfredo Senior, but he's 30. His next contract lasts for another 2 seasons. And so I don't really want to re-sign him on, because I'm actually considering selling him at the end of this year for what money I can get for him. Which is an odd one, because I have plenty of strikers in reserve, and I'd much rather play the younger ones than him. I think he's been a great kind of servant to the club in the few seasons that he's spent here. I might keep him on for 1 more year, but in reality, I'd love to be able to cash in on him and get a little bit of money back for him before he gets too old and his value particularly kind of declines. So it's a little bit of a bummer, that one. But we do go into today's FA Cup game at Wembley, which is a pretty big tie. And I'm actually going to do something pretty odd here. I'm going to ask my assistant to pick a completely rotated side. And my rotated side is probably better than Norwich's side, which sounds really bad to say, but it just is. Paintrod struggling with fitness a little bit. Bastian Hubner's on 97%. I'm actually going to bring on Carl Klaus here and give him a debut, which to some people might seem like a head scratcher. This guy, 18 years old, he's been repping it up in the reserves. He's considered one of the best players in my academy at the moment, and he could be the best striker in the Premier League, 5-star ability. And I want to give him a chance, so we're going to give him a chance today. On the big stage. I mean, his mentals are unbelievably solid, and he's a funny one because I signed him and he had these absolutely insane mentals and insane physicals, and his technical attributes kind of let him down. This was 2 years ago, and you can see he's improving everywhere. A big tip I can give you, particularly in younger players, is that if their physical ability is naturally high, if their mentals are pretty decent for a 16-year-old and they're maybe lacking the technicals, they'll more than make up for the technical abilities with their solid mentals that will help them improve in the future. And technical attributes are the easiest attributes to improve, and so if you've got this player who maybe lacks the technicals, take that with a pinch of salt, because you can really kind of do something good with them. But we'll see what we can do here. Just trying to motivate the entire side, which is good to see. Hubner and Carl Klaus, not the traditional partnership up front, but I'm hoping that these two guys can really hit it off. It's going to give Carl Klaus a chance on the big stage at Wembley, where there's loads of empty seats for some reason. I don't know why there'd be empty seats at an FA Cup semi-final, but we will just let it slide. Looking at the chances at the moment, all over them. Scott Everington in goal getting given a chance. I really have rotated the entire squad here, but I've been doing this in the FA Cup despite what happened against Brighton. I keep a few of the experienced players in. For example, Matty, who was suspended, I want to get him up to match fitness, so I'm going to play him. Rico Francis, Abaga, these guys are top players who have played in my first team of late, but they haven't got a chance in the Champions League. But in reality, they should be good enough to beat a Championship side, and we've just taken the lead. Bastian Hubner getting the goal, and the one thing I really love about my reserve team is that it's a young team, like an under-20s team, that could probably stay up in the Premier League realistically, and so I can just completely rotate the squad to deal with fixture congestion and have some faith that my team is going to get the results. Sometimes that's misplay, sometimes they don't turn up against teams like Brighton, showing a little bit of misguided faith in them, but at the moment we're looking fairly solid here, really applying some pressure. Carl Klaus buries it, gets a goal on his debut. That is why I've played him. Fairy tale story for Carl Klaus. The 18-year-old came to us 2 years ago, scores at Wembley on his first team debut. Actually, it might not be his first team debut. I don't want to say it is, but he's certainly not played in anything besides maybe the occasional League Cup game. So great result there. Great goal there. Obviously, the FA Cup is over one leg, so we've got to play well. And Scott Everington, the keeper, making a mistake there. A little annoying, a little disheartening. But looking at the stats, we are statistically in control of the game, and it would really have to be us throwing away the game if we were to lose this now. I'd rather we didn't play it around the back like we are doing, because I don't have as much faith in Scott Everington in goal as I would if Pavlenko was there. But the thing with Scott Everington is he's the under-20 international goalkeeper for England. So he certainly has some ability, and he's played at a fairly high level for the under-21s, but he's never really had a chance in our first team. But he's a player who I want to start playing a little bit more when I get an opportunity. But Bastian Hubner, bury that, hits the post, ball bounces around the area, will be cleared by Norwich, but again, us piling up the pressure here. They're yet to have any more chances since they scored their goal, and it's looking very good for us. I'm going to do a sub because otherwise one of my subscribers will moan that I haven't made a change, even though the only real players that need to come off are Prest and Pereira, and I don't have an alternative to Prest at right wing back. We'll bring on Pereira as well. Hopefully he can just see out the game. But no, it looks like it's going to be a very good win here unless something goes horribly wrong. And it looks like we could be going to the FA Cup final. Hubner here, bury this, make it certain. He hasn't buried it, and now I get worried. I'm like, oh god, FM, don't do this to me. Don't give me all these chances and then us not take a single one. But no, we're piling up some real nice pressure. Hopefully we can take this level of performance into Valencia. I guess one good thing about this rest, and hopefully if we win this, is the fact that we will have rested our entire kind of first team just about, with a few exceptions here and there, and they'll be unbelievably fresh for the Champions League game, which would be awesome. And Matty has just made it certain with that header there. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the game. 3-1 up against Norwich at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final, and it looks like we're going to be in the running for our first ever FA Cup, and Peyrod with the free kick. Oh, has that gone in? I don't know. That looked like it was over the line. I don't even know what's happening anymore, but looks like that's going to be a great win for us. Going into the FA Cup final, I said at the start this year, I wanted domestic cup success. We're actually on for a treble if we can somehow win our Champions League second leg. I'm very pleased with the performance. Congratulations, you deserve it. That's great. FA Cup final under our belt. Mason Bennett, top goal scorer in the competition for Norwich. How did he develop on the save? He turned into an okay player. Mason Bennett, obviously the Derby County wonder kid. But no, we've done well there. I'm really happy with that performance. Carl Klaus getting that goal on his debut is superb. He's currently learning from an experienced player. That was indeed, I believe, his first ever. Oh, actually no, he played once in the cup last year, but his second ever game for the club, getting a goal at Wembley. But no, great win, giving a little bit of money as well, which is nice for the financial kind of state of our team, and hopefully we can keep things going. Robson made a debut here. This guy, I'm very excited for this centre-back, and sweeper, if you want to play him in sweeper. But this guy, I think he has some natural ability here. Really nice mentals for a player of his age. If he can polish off his physicals and maybe improve his technicals even further, there's no reason why this guy really can't make it into the first team in a few years' time. But we're looking very good. Matty getting man of the match again. Matty, I don't know what it is about that centre-back, but he seems to get man of the match a hell of a lot for a centre-back. I mean, I want to find out how many times he's got it this year. Don't get me wrong, this guy's absolutely insane. He's a player who came in for a fair fee, 9.5 million, 4 years ago at the age of 17. And he's played in the first team for a number of years now, really. I mean, he started playing when he was 18, and he's only just improving more and more. In all competitions, he's got 3 player of the matches, but an average rating of 7.81. Really tells you a lot about his kind of player ability. You know, he's a consistent performer. But anyway, Valencia today, going to be a tricky tie, never easy. Obviously, we go into the leg 1-0 down from the first leg. However, we go in with a very, very fresh side, thanks to kind of the rotation that we did. Be interesting to see who wins today's Chelsea v Arsenal FA Cup tie. In fact, Chelsea won it with Czerwinski, what a name, getting the goal for them, the centre midfielder, very good player for them. That's an interesting one. So obviously we're going to be playing Chelsea, who have kind of become indirectly our kind of rivals this year in terms of for the title and in the FA Cup now. Will be interesting to see how we get on. Of course, we've got Valencia today, which is never going to be an easy one. We are at home though, and our home record is very good. Matty's been tipped for English Young Player of the Year. I think he deserves it. 21 years old, to be playing the amount of first team football he's played this year. You guys have seen his average ratings. He's been superb. But anyway, first leg of Champions League games is going to be today. We've got a little bit lucky here with the fact that our FA Cup final was the one on the Saturday rather than the one on the Sunday, and our second leg is on a Wednesday rather than the Tuesday, because otherwise there'd be a lot shorter gap between the games. But we have a fairly well rotated side anyway. Looking at it, Manchester City almost did the impossible. Real Madrid go through, so we are going to see Bayern Munich and Real Madrid in one of the finals, and then in one of the semi-finals, and then obviously the winner of our game v the winner of the other quarter-final game, which I'm not even sure who it's between. It's between Lyon and PSG, so the battle of the French teams. But no, we go into today's game. It's going to be a tricky one. Certainly going to be a tricky one. But I'm hopeful that we can do something here. I'm just going to quickly ask the assistant. He usually does a fairly good job with this. Usually I say that because now I'm going to have to change a load of things. I'm going to take off João Jose for Hubner and give Hubner a chance. He's not 100% fit and João Jose may well come on, but he's in such fine goal scoring form this season, it's hard not to play him, in all honesty. Unfortunately, yeah, so Luis Enrique is suspended, which is a bit of a downer, because I'd be rather playing him than Rico Francis. And I'm going to make a change. What is Matty and Rico Francis's differences? I think Matty's a lot better player, but Rico Francis is kind of naturally more athletic. That's my... Oh gosh, I have so many players. Where is Francis? There we go, Rico Francis. So, yeah, Rico Francis is a bit more of a rounded off centre mid, whereas Matty really does the defensive stuff well. I'm going to play Matty at centre mid. And then I'm going to play Alfredo Jr. at right back, even though he was a little bit nervy last game, because he's one of our top performing centre-backs, and so he deserves to kind of have a chance today. But we will see how we get on. Pretty happy with our overall starting 11. Hoping that we can get a result today against Valencia. Valencia are going to struggle today, and we should be able to overturn our deficit. That's what the pundit's thinking. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. We will see how we get on here. I'm just going to encourage the guys. If you play a game we can win and you're capable of that, I have faith in you. Go out there and make a difference. Payrod and Hubner reacting well. Hopefully these guys can turn up for us. Now obviously Hubner didn't start the previous leg, but his form's been so good this season that he just deserves a chance to, I guess, turn up and perform. Looking at the stats at the moment, looks like we're having the earlier better play, but Hubner is now injured. Wow. His injury proneness, his big weakness coming to surface there. 45 minutes in, and it's going to be 0-0, which isn't good enough. Where's the passion, lads? Come on, let's do this. But no, I mean 1-0 would be good enough for us technically because of away goals. Our away goal could be huge for us because it means if we score, they've got to go up the field and score. It does, however, mean if they were to score one, of course, that they'd be through. So we still need to score, but it isn't going to be a game changer, and it certainly isn't going to be the tie if we score first. But 60 minutes in, no real highlights here. They've got a set piece, ball whipped in, Matty nods it out, but we need to deal with the second ball here as well as we can. Alfredo Senior intercepts. We have a chance here on the break. They're sitting back with a lot of men, which is frustrating to see, but we've got a chance here. Luke Shaw, get the ball in the box, my son. Penalty. He's given it. Oh dear. Who's taking it? Alfredo Senior, bury it, my son. Yes, boys. Great finish. Alfredo Senior taking the penalty. 1-0, 2-2. We're going through on aggregate, which is good, but we have to be realistic here. We have to kind of see out the tie now. Going to make some more changes because in the centre of midfield we are going to be struggling. I'm going to bring on Rico Francis and I'm going to bring on Abaga. Mixing up in the centre of midfield is a little bit of a risky one. However, I believe both those players can hold out for us and perform in this kind of game, and hopefully the young uns can do us some justice here. 1 minute left to cling on. This would be a great result, and I think that's going to be enough. It's going to be enough. That's a great result. It was unlucky. Good comeback, lads. I know the assistant wanted me to be harsh on them, but I can't be harsh on my team. But no, that's decent. Obviously, we aren't going to be playing Lyon, I believe, who we played in the group stage in the semi-final, I believe. But going for an away goal's less than convincing, but I will certainly take it. Nice little payout as well for advancing, and we make it into the semi-final. In fact, screw playing Lyon. We're playing Bayern Munich, who are a very good side. Look at their squad. Few familiar names, guys. Few familiar names. We have Pablo here. Brazilian centre-back, former player of ours. I'm still not quite sure how I got 20 million for him because he's not the best centre-back in the world. Obviously, Dzeko, another former FC United of Manchester legend, playing for Bayern Munich. Actually went to them at the start of this season, so that one could be a sketchy one. And also Antonin Dvorak, the Czech Republican player, who I sold. I didn't think he was going to be amazing. He's gone to Bayern Munich. He's proved me wrong. Not made as many first-team appearances this year because he's injured, but we're going to be coming up against some old players, which is going to be an interesting one. Looking at when these fixtures fit in the Champions League, we're talking in a few games' time, and then they're followed by the FA Cup final. So talk about fixture congestion. It's going to be a tricky one to get a squad balanced out for those games. So what I think I'm going to do is, next episode we will do the Champions League 2 ties, and then the episode after we'll do the FA Cup final against Chelsea, and then potentially we'll round things up at the end of the season, depending on how the league looks, with the Liverpool game and the Champions League final, if we get that far. But anyway, treble is still on, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please be sure to give the video a like rating. It does help me out. Lets me know that you guys are enjoying the video. But other than that, guys, it is me, Jack. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.